chicken Parmesan soup. Have you seen that? If you haven't, you are definitely missing out. Welcome to V's Cooking with Love channel, and thank you for joining me for this such a deliciousness. Yep, just bunch of love stuck in one pot. Easy to cook. You can even make it in the slow cooker. I'll walk you through it if that's your preferred option. But do you see all that cheesy chicken with, oh, yep, it's a wow. What are you gonna do? Very simple ingredients, not a lot of complicated stuff whatsoever. And like I said, you can make it in one pot and make it very easy on yourself and have a dinner ready in about 30 minutes, or cook it in that slow cooker. So thank you for all your subscribing out there in my channel and joining me in my kitchen. And we are cooking just another wonderful meal for you. I don't know if you heard about that Marry Me chicken stuff. Oh, this is one of those. If you know what I'm talking about. And I really don't think you can mess it up even if you are not experienced cook. So let's gather our ingredients. Just like you see, I'll walk you through it. And let's cook. And let's have some fun and add a bunch of love to it as we go. So we are starting with some preheated big enough pot to handle all your ingredients. And this is about a tablespoon or two of good quality olive oil you want to cook with. I have here 2 chicken breasts. They are about a pound, maybe a little bit less, and they are cut up to whatever size you like them to be, like an inch or 2 preferably, to whatever, like I said, you want them to be as you're consuming the meal later. So just make sure you get that nice sizzle when you adding your meat, that it's already diced up into your dish, to your pot here, and that way it will give you that little bit of a nice color there. And guess what? If you wanted to, you can even make it in the oven. I added a little bit of salt and pepper, but not much. Take it easy on that, because I'll tell you why later. And like I said, if you wanted to, you can cook the chicken breast, just the whole thing in the oven on like for 20 minutes on 400 and later dice it up. You can use also rotisserie chicken. You can use some kind of chicken leftover if you want to utilize it in the meal. So keep that in mind as an option. And the reason I didn't do a lot of salt and pepper here, like I said, because we are adding a bunch of cheese later, and if that's what you are doing, then cheese has some salt. And we are taking out the chicken and the juice, and you will want to cover that and make sure they are staying nice and warm. You might want to add another tablespoon of olive oil, because here we are adding a large chopped onion, and we will be cooking it for about that 5 minutes and stir it occasionally. You are looking just for that little translucent color in the onion there. So if you are using the rotisserie chicken, I don't know what really faster, because it might take you longer to peel off that chicken off the bone. Like I said, I was trying to make this in one pot. That's why I pre-diced my chicken, so it cooked quicker. I think it came out even juicier that way. It's your preference. Here I am adding about 3-4 cloves of garlic that was minced, and we'll cook that just for that 1 minute, just to get the garlic going here on that heat. Everything we are cooking on that medium heat temperatures. And you see you have all that caramelization on the bottom, and I wanted to keep all that flavor here, and that's why all the juices from the chicken, I'm keeping it with the chicken, and I'll add that later back to our dish. I don't want to lose any of that flavor anywhere, because I think when you're baking it, I don't know, some of it just gets lost. And here we have about a half or 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. Depends how hot you want it to, and about the same of the seasoning, Italian seasoning. And here I'm going with a 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, and you see already is doing some lifting of that nice flavor from the bottom of my Dutch oven that I made this dish in. I used here 1 can 15 ounce of tomatoes. Mine were whole. You are looking for crushed or diced. The reason I used whole ones, because when I buy this brand of tomato, I noticed that the can on the inside, it is coated and it doesn't taste like the tomato that they are out of the can. So just a little tip there. 32 ounces of chicken broth or stock. Mine was unsalted. If you want, you can use low sodium or wherever your preference is. And we'll just mix all that together and bring it to simmer. And like I said, those tomatoes, they are a little bit better tasting, but maybe you have your brand that you're finding out there that it has a little bit better taste. It is up to you. This is what really easy accessible in my grocery store. And look at that. You know, when you try that right there, it has so much flavor already. But we, of course, are not done yet. So let me know how you making out with this recipe. If you would like to, you can even add some diced green pepper here in this recipe. You can cut down on the chicken. Maybe you want to make it vegetarian. Yep, you can. So that's just different options to consider. I made it heavy loaded. I admit it. So it is up to you how loaded you would like to have it. Living dangerously in this one again. So you see, we are coming to a nice slow simmer, and we are adding 8-10 ounces of penne. You can use it rotini, some kind of bigger pasta. Actually, I used a mini penne. I just thought it was just perfect size. And we are cooking that. Read your instructions on the box. This one was about that 9-10 minutes. And we'll just lightly simmer. So let me know, what do you think so far? How are we doing here? When the noodles are cooking, in the meantime, in our one pot, which you'll keep all that deliciousness even from the noodle right there, you want to grate some fresh mozzarella if you go that route, and I highly recommend the freshly grounded Parmesan cheese. We are using about a cup and a half of mozzarella and about a cup of the Parmesan cheese. You can cut down a little bit. You can only use it maybe for a garnish a little bit if you're trying not to make it so cheesy. It is really up to you. And you see, just stir those noodles, make sure that they don't lump up on you in the dish. And they are cooking nicely here, and just kind of watch them, and on the meantime you can shred that cheese. So you see, that recipe really could be made really fast. Like I said, about a half an hour or so, and you can have a meal. We are adding our chicken with all the juices here at this point, and you just want to bring everything back to simmer. The chicken should be still warm. That's why I recommended to cover it, because it will keep all the juices in there in that heat, and it will heat up quicker. And just mix it all together, and you can just serve it just like that. If you don't want to have all that cheese, or maybe you don't have the cheese, you can always be flexible. And just taste as you go here. If you need to add more seasoning, just like I said, hold off on the salt at this point until a little bit maybe later. I would recommend it. But you can add garlic powder, you can add other seasoning like thyme even. It is really up to you how much you want to load it, but I thought it was already quite full of flavor out of that portion of the love that I came up with. So let me know how yours turned out, but I am telling you, this is a date after date guaranteed. Or just keep that honey's love coming back right at you. So we are about ready to add our remaining ingredients, because we are about simmering back again here. Yep, here it comes. I would suggest to maybe hold off on a little bit of a Parmesan cheese for additional garnishing. But this mozzarella cheese makes it like, I want to say, pizza in the pot. So this was quite easy, you see, to make it, because you're just putting everything in that one pot and mixing together and waiting for it to cook, and here you have it. The mozzarella cheese, it will melt quite fast. You just want to make it that it's nice and stringy, just like you see it, and off we go. Yumminess, deliciousness. If you cut down on some cheese, I'm sure it still will be good anyway. And this is so filling because of all that cheese too, so keep that in mind. You can maybe just add a half a cup if you want it cut it down. I wanted mine to be a little bit on the thicker side, so I added about that 10 ounces of the noodles. You can add a little bit less if you want to have a little bit less of that thickness in here. So let me know. Keep it in mind, you can add a little bit more broth as you go if it comes out too thick and you don't like it, and you can adjust that thickness later as well. Look at all that strings coming through. Yep. I hope you are ready. Nice and simple ingredients. You don't have to spend hours sweating over the stove, and that kind of chicken parmesan works for me. And I know you are drooling over this because I am all over again too. So here comes our garnishing. Use some Parmesan cheese and some fresh Italian parsley. You can use basil, you can even use both. And it just looks nice, and it's a little bit fresh. And again, if you don't want to have that mozzarella that much of it, you can just drizzle a little bit over here, because believe me, when it's hot, it will become stringy very fast anyway in your bowl as you're serving. So of course, thank you for watching again. Thank you for bringing me to your kitchen, and thank you for being part of my kitchen. So let's put that extra love somewhere and have it served. Have a blessed one. We'll see you next time.